Looking back, a morning custom find
Yeah. All right, we're back. We're into it now. We're actually into the actual chapter numbers.
We did it.
Yay. And now shit can get worse for everybody. It can slowly go downhill. Yeah, so I guess we're just going to pick up right where we left off. Volume 5. I mean, chapter 1. The page. Wind of Swords, right?
Yeah. In mine, it's page 83.
Yes.
Hella specific.
Yeah.
And what a fucking good image. I love this shot.
The sword pointing to the sky?
Mine doesn't have the sword. Mine is the hand. I'm like the page.
Oh, before that.
Before, I guess. Yeah.
Gotcha. So like on the literal start, not on the like title card.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So the hand is like what they, I think it's every episode of the anime. It's like they're part of their intro.
This?
So they have the hand holding the beherit. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And someone is like reading this text pretty much word for word. Like, in this world is the destiny of mankind controlled. It's good shit.
Yeah, this seems like an anime opening panel for sure. That makes sense.
Fucking sword on the next pages. Oh.
Yeah. It's so good.
Fucking big.
Yeah, that sword is ridiculous.
I also love how it's like beat to shit. Like, it's pitted and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like there's almost like cracks or something in the base. Like surface cracks or something.
I legitimately think if this sword existed, I don't think I could lift it at all.
Like, yeah, I mean, if it's actually a hunk of, like, it would be fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I've definitely lifted, like, we've gotten into work before, oil field equipment, and some of it is literally just, like, slabs of iron and steel that, like, go into stuff, and they're, like, I don't know, no bigger than, like, a skateboard or something, usually quite small, and they're, like, easily about 100 pounds. Like, they're so fucking heavy. Just pure metal is one of those things that unless you've actually tried to lift like a hunk of actual pure steel or iron, you don't realize how heavy that shit actually is.
Well, and I forget what someone was giving me shit when we were lifting something like that, moving it around, and they're like, oh, whatever. That's when I was like lifting.
Yeah.
Like, actually. And I'm like, yeah, there is a fuckload of difference between like the world's most dense cube and like plates spread out on a bar.
Oh, for sure. Like I don't know if you've ever lifted a shot put, but those are incredibly heavy, and they're the size of a baseball essentially.
Or I mean, even like a ball bearing, like a steel ball bearing, like a big one.
Yeah. No, people don't understand unless you've actually lifted something that is 100% pure condensed iron, how heavy that shit actually is.
Yeah. This
obviously would be a little more wieldy because it is spread out and tapered, but it would still be I'm going to take a guess, it's probably close to 500 pounds. Like, it's stupid. It's a stupidly big sword. And he wields it with one arm a lot.
Yeah, that's what I fucking love. He's just out here.
Ridiculous. Yeah, this is where we start getting into what you were talking about last time, where specifically there's a battle going on here against the Black Ram Iron Lance Heavy Cavalry.
Yeah, man. And they got like the ram horns as part of their helmet.
Yeah, so we're finally into like the animal knights section, I guess, where we start seeing all the armies in this area take after like a certain type of animal, or like, I don't know, like like I said before, like a dumb kids soccer team or something. So these are the rams, specifically the black rams, and they're a lance cavalry, so they're all on horses and shit like that. And it's pretty much standard fare to begin with, just a page of like a bunch of dudes clashing and
just
death and destruction.
Next page, someone's getting a fucking lance through the mouth.
Yeah, and just like ripping their
chest.
Yeah. It's brutal, but like just war shit. The thing we all come for though is the like full page it takes to show off that Guts is on the battlefield, where like there's a bunch of panels of war already happening, but there's a whole page dedicated to like this lone swordsman on a horse, and then just like a bunch of panels just showing his like chest and showing his helmet and head and showing him grab his sword.
His shredded, glistening bicep.
Yeah, he's not really glistening, but yes.
No, it's glistening. The sun hitting it.
Sure.
Griffith is off screen just sweating bullets.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who knows is sweating bullets because we know what's about to happen. And yeah, there is so much lead-in time, page and like page-wise, of him pulling his sword out and just getting ready without even doing anything, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then when he does, of course, he cuts a dude in half because that's what he does.
Yeah. And there's a whole, the whole 2 pages dedicated. Man, his sword, like, I love the motion in this little section here where it's like, it's not doing the after image thing, and it's not like lines coming off of the sword, but just like the lines in the sword and like kind of on him as well.
Yeah, it makes it so you can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really feel like this whole time Mura's probably been getting notes about that stuff because his style has just... What volume are we on again? We're on volume 5. In 5 volumes has gone from kind of a messy, almost garbagey look to like super clean lines, and like you can tell what's going on here. Which is cool. It's like we can actually see him grow as an artist basically as he's doing this shit, which is awesome.
And then you get to page 99 and it's just a fucking mess again.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just... how else are you going to draw? I'm going to assume 10 dudes get absolutely fucking decapitated in one go.
Hey, that guy doesn't get decapitated. His head just gets like cut in half from the top.
One of them gets split, but like a lot of them just lose their head completely.
Or their top half, or both.
Or their arm, or...
the whole...
Yeah. It's just a really cool scene of him basically just driving through with his horse a group of cavalry and cutting them all in pieces in one go.
So there's an interesting thing kind of continuing to move forward a little bit to, I guess, like page 102, because that's where we see, or 102, 103.
Okay.
That's where we see the Band of the Hawk in this section, and Griffith is up front. Something I noticed while reading that I kind of didn't consider before.
Okay.
When you have all the other like animal armies, like the Black Rams here, they all have the ram helmets, right?
Yeah, they're all... Oh, I see where you're going.
But for Griffith, like the Band of the Hawk, it's literally just Griffith who has the hawk helmet. And
they don't even have
nothing.
They don't have uniform helmets at all, actually. It's just whatever like that mercenary obviously got from somewhere.
And it might mean nothing, but this is definitely the type of media where I like to, go English literature on it and just, why are the curtains blue and shit.
Okay.
So find that interesting. Just like, maybe a subtle implication that like the Band of the Hawk is Griffith, like he's the fucking glue to this whole thing.
Yeah, they pretty much...
we've gotten before.
They pretty much say as much in parts, but yeah, for sure. Like, it is very clear that it's kind of like when something is named like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the Band of the Hawk is describing everybody under the Hawk, who is Griffith. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it is kind of interesting because all of the Band of the Hawk kind of have different helmets and look kind of like, I don't know, just the Mighty Ducks ragtag of like people showing up in whatever jersey their dad passed down to them or whatever
they've looted.
Yeah exactly. Which is why like it's weird because they don't fit in, they all fit in together.
yeah
because all the ram dudes look like rams, but everybody else is a Band of a Hawk. That's how we know. And I wonder if that's a conscious effort. It's like the reason why, like, obviously because it's a little fun also finding like different animals and creating a weird gang essentially based on them. But I wonder if some of that is an easier visual representation of this is how you can clearly see on the battlefield this animal type just is getting fucked up, so that you know those are the bad guys or whatever against our crew.
There's, I mean, probably also just like the mercenary thing, like the implication that like they're, and I mean even here we get I think the first official inkling, going back to like page 92 where we have the noble or lord or whoever who's like, what a disaster to think that 3,000 horsemen are doing this.
Oh yeah.
Like the idea that they're just fucking mercenaries. Like they're nobody, right? They're not an official Band of the Hawk cavalry or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I guess like this is kind of an important distinction to make too. Now that we're in the chapter 1 or whatever and going forward, these are kind of chronological. This is the 100-year war that's happening, which is the big thing. Where is it? Midland? Yeah, Midland or whatever is kind of, there's like a giant fight between rival, I mean, factions, I guess, families, whatever. It's like a Game of Thrones type thing going on. Just classic medieval bullshit, claiming land and whatever. And the reason why I bring it up is because like every battle from here on out is essentially part of this war. And the end of the war is going to be one of our stopping points where things change up a little bit as well. But yes, anyways, just some more cool drawing stuff. Like,
dude, 106. I fucking love Guts' armor. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it's just simple. Oh, I love it.
It makes me really appreciate in like the Souls games. There's like a lot of armor sets that kind of just look like that or similar in style, and I love it.
It's great.
Yeah,
and we get our, I mean, after the war, and classic Casca's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And everyone's like, shit. Here it comes.
Yeah. It's because he broke away from his group, right? Like she's scolded him.
Yeah. He didn't exactly follow the plan.
Yeah. The big problem with Guts is that it's not that he's unreliable. It's that he literally is kind of trying to die in some ways.
Well, and it's like he's like, I'm sorry about that. I went out and charged by myself, and everyone's like, it was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it could have gone so bad. And Casca is definitely
fucking terrible.
And she's definitely the type that's like, there's like, you have to follow orders because she really respects Griffith and stuff, and just frankly doesn't like Guts. Also.
Yeah.
And there's,
I mean, ever since Griffith said he wanted Guts.
Yeah. I didn't realize it while reading it, but Casca's like colored, right? Like a colored person.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't really notice it because black and white, and it's kind of like a softer shading or whatever. But
it's a softer shading, and also it doesn't help that like there's been a few panels where like Griffith is the same color, and that guy is like porcelain. So
yeah.
Sometimes he's like shaded much darker for some reason.
Yeah. But I was just getting at the idea that I think it's kind of cool that this came out, this specifically was published in the early 90s, and having like, she's a super strong character in this. She's a female character and she's colored is dope.
She's incredibly strong, dude. It's great.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that you don't, people always say there's not enough representation, and they're right. But in the mainstream stuff, I think, is the key. Because, like, there's definitely some, like, I don't know. Anime people have known about this, obviously, for years. But I'm just saying that, like, it's kind of interesting to see, oh, there's, like, a darker-skinned lady character in this that is, like, fucking badass. Yeah. But no, the thing is that it's not big here, so I guess it doesn't count, which is it's just kind of too bad, is the thing, that like something like this could do the representation so well and it's not mentioned or whatever because it's kind of not big enough over here where we live.
Yeah.
Where I live. Yeah. Also, there's just like the scene of Casca standing at the top of the stairs or whatever in her armor. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I also really like that this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit or foreshadowing maybe conversations later. I really like that she is a strong female character that also and like dresses down, but she's not masculine, if that makes sense. They didn't just draw a dude and say it's a like woman character. They actually like took the time to maybe design a female character that like would dress a certain way and like, I don't know, just not be, it's hard to get across what I'm saying, but basically I like that they kind of dressed her down without sexualizing her is like the too long don't read or whatever.
Like her like her armor and stuff and everything like makes sense for her anatomy, you know, but it's not like a fucking
there's not a weird like a chest window, a cleavage window or something like that. Like it's a full like breastplate or whatever.
Yeah. And
even it's cool.
I mean, I think when I first read this, when you first see her, like it almost looks like she has like the fucking thigh high or knee high boot sort of things, and then just nothing. But it's actually like she has leather pants or whatever.
Yeah, like
actual stuff. That's just more mobile.
Like I can't remember the name of it, but like the thing that like Link wears in Legend of Zelda, like breeches or something with a tunic top. It's something something similar to that. But like, the way it's drawn, it does look like thigh highs sometimes.
Which I mean, like, kind of whatever. Like, you can have, like, you're giving that look without actually doing it, I guess.
Look, there's a lot of times Link from Legend of Zelda looks like he's wearing thigh highs, and it's cool. So it's cool if she does it too. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, yes, there's a fighting between them. Griffith shows up, and there's just a bunch of conversation about the battle they just won, and kind of there was like a little bit of a time jump, not huge, but it's obvious Guts has been with them for a while now, and they're kind of recollecting like the first day they met and that whole sort of thing, and like where they are now fighting alongside each other. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, we get because Casca is like, you're a mad dog who doesn't care, and he's like, fucking say that again.
Yeah,
because he's like, I've changed. I do think about
and he has the way he talks with Griffith, and like it's obvious. I don't know if they're necessarily like best friends or anything now. There's definitely respect that Guts didn't have the last time we saw them together for him.
Yeah.
And they're having like a conversation like adults. Yeah, it's cool. Griffith gets knighted, and during the ceremony, Guts goes out and just weighs down his sword even more with any bullshit he can find strapped to it.
Dude, that's so fucking cool, though.
Yeah.
Like how he
puts on training weights.
One-armed. Fucking training weights.
Yeah, and this is a thing we saw him do as a kid. I think to like take his anger out or whatever, he would just swing the sword like a few hundred times to like make it lighter, and basically just like build up the strength to swing it. And he's just like 198, 199, 200, and there's just like this giant sword with this shit strapped to it. Yeah, that's some good stuff. There's some cool, like, I think I appreciate how there's a lot of points when two important things or more important things are happening in this manga in general. They cuts between the two things almost like a movie would, so the one thing that's happening is Griffith is being knighted, and like on the one page it shows the knighting ceremony and the people kind of like looking up ahead while the king is like putting the sword on him or whatever, and then the next page is Guts just like thrusting the sword, and then it goes back to the knighting ceremony of him giving like the cordial wave and like kissing the sword and whatever, and then it just goes back to Guts sweating and like
sweating under the tree
looking at his sword and stuff. I just really like he does this a lot where he almost draws it like it is an anime already or a movie or something where it's cutting between two scenes. Yeah, I just really like that.
But it feels it's done in a very good way. Like, it doesn't. I don't think I've ever, like, throughout the entire manga, I can't think of an instance where like they cut away and I'm like, what are you doing? No, go back. I don't care about this other thing.
Yeah.
Like, he picks good. He's cutting between. I mean, it helps when both things are good.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah.
It never feels like one he's cutting away as like a tease. Like, oh, haha, you have to wait to see what happens at the cool thing while we do this lame shit.
There definitely are those teases, but then it's in for the next chapter, which is just right away. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're reading like at the time it's being published, that would suck, but it doesn't matter here.
Yeah.
We'll get into some of the publishing shit that was hilarious, but that's like way down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Before that, why don't we get into our first kind of important monster baddie, I guess we'll call him.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of set the stage for what's going on, we jump into a chapter or a set of episodes, I guess is what they're called, themed around a character named Nosferatu Zodd.
Yeah.
So
he's like a legendary mercenary figure.
Yeah. It's a pretty standard setup. They go to a place because they have a thing to do as the band or whatever, but they heard that Nosferatu Zodd would maybe be here, or there was a rumor that he's been helping the enemy or whatever, and they're basically going to go check it out. The Raiders, that is. And the first thing we see of Nosferatu Zodd is if you are a video game player and know Akuma from basically anything Street Fighter. It's like just this muscly dude that's completely obscured by shadow with like an angry looking eye every time they draw him. And it's so good. He's just so scary looking. He has this sword in his silhouette that has this like crazy shape to it. Yeah, he's just
such a sucker for like weird swords like that.
Yeah, me too.
Like demon, almost like
swords that don't make any sense, like tactically.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just so good.
You would never make a sword end heavy like this sword is, that tapers with the weaker point where the handle is, because it would just break. Like, yeah, it's so stupid, but demon swords are so dumb.
And then, so they're like, that's not, they said he's killed hundreds or thousands in battle. And so it's like, that's not even what makes it scary. Like, these stories have been happening for 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they call him Zodd Nosferatu or whatever, because there's a theory that he's immortal because he's been doing this for 100 years. And
then it jumps to everybody holding off Guts because they've sent, it's been a whole hour, you ass. We sent almost 50 men in there. No one's come out.
Yeah. And obviously we know, first of all, he wants to see what's going on, but he wants that fight. He wants that fight. And I mean, just straight up, this is just back to kind of horror medieval shit where a dude comes out just torn apart, missing vital limbs or whatever.
Like his ribs are sticking out and shit.
Like there's chunks of his head missing.
Yeah.
I guess his name's Dillos.
I was actually going to mention that's like one of those low key moments that just shows us how Guts has grown. Like, yeah, he's not just talking to fucking Casca and Griffith, and that's the only names we get or whatever, or like our little trio of like identifiable fighters like Pippin.
Oh, the fact that he actually knows like a random person's name.
It's just a fucking dude, yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows him. Like, that's low key huge,
Yeah. I think also the fact that he's a captain and like has a responsibility to these people, I think also plays a lot. He probably knows the name of like everybody under him.
Oh, totally.
So 50 of his guys not returning and then seeing this, it's like, this guy has anger issues at the best of times.
Yeah. So like he wants the fight, but he wants the fucking revenge.
Yeah, exactly. That's the better way to put it, for sure. I mean, right on the next page, he even says, nobody's coming in with me. I'm killing him alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, God, and then he fucking goes in and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. This
corpses.
is my jam again. This is so good. Just like, first of all, the way...
Dude's eye hanging off.
The way Miura captures a dark corridor in the way that, like, we can tell there's no light or very little light. Like, it's dim lighting in here, but we as the viewer need to be able to see the scene. So he uses a lot of he uses cross-hatching and line to indicate like fast or just in general movement and intense movement. And he uses I can't remember the name of it, just like dots. It's not, or is it just dotism? I think it was like staccato, or I can't remember. There's a name for it. Shading to indicate that there's like a dimness to the light in here or whatever. But it's very good.
Like without, it's just, it's crazy because you don't even necessarily think about it. Like my first go around, I probably didn't really think about it, but like, that this is a dark corridor.
Yes.
And it's all like, it's white. It's not even like drawn dimly.
Yeah.
But it just has that.
Yeah. The way you do it is by using dots and kind of spacing them out or whatever. But more importantly, everything that would be normally somewhat dark has to be pure black now, because darker things are black now and lighter things are kind of like grayish in a way.
Yeah.
And like you can see the parts where there's like torches or sconces, there's like a little dim whiteness around there because that's supposed to be the area that's like the most lit up. And it's a way that you can see the whole corridor as the viewer, but then the panels underneath shows more of the actual lighting, and that's where like the sconces are lighting up like kind of bits and pieces of the corpses, and the rest would be obscured in shadows and shit like that. It's very, very well done. It's crazily well done. Yeah, I just needed to bring that up because that's something that's super easy to overlook in the art style.
Yeah, man.
And it continues, by the way. There's like a corpse pile, and he uses the same
corpse pile.
The eyes.
The eyes just fucking, and the teeth all like clenched and just fucking.
Yeah.
And then we get the panel of the two dudes just hanging off of this sword.
And him like holding another one like it's a fucking suitcase by the head.
By the fucking, like, yeah, his fingers just in the person's eyes.
Like eyes and nasal cavity area.
Yeah. And just all the bodies and shit.
It's so fucked up. I love it. I love this so much. This is where I started getting like super excited about what's to come.
Yeah, man.
And then, just a whole bunch of anime drawings of angry Guts and then him running in with his sword and fights and stuff like that. It actually just ends with him attacking and Zodd like breathing out
the
something.
Breath thing is so it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shot, that panel is fucking great. And
Yeah.
that's like, because I think that's like all of these, like prior, we get like, even with the two dudes on the sword, like Zodd doesn't look crazy.
Right.
You know? He looks like a fucked up dude who's just big as hell.
Yeah.
But then in this panel, like, that's the reader and Guts is like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, like it literally ends with him saying, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess he's like, not only is his attack blocked, which is insane because it's Guts, but he's also knocked back from it. He's like thrown into a pillar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's just a tactic to get you super excited into the next chapter, where the first thing we see is Zodd, for some reason, is still holding the suitcase guy, like the dude's head. And I don't understand why.
Because it's, it's comforting. He doesn't know what to do with his
it's his
hand.
It's like his teddy bear. Just this half person thing.
Like if he drops it, suddenly what's he going to do with his left hand,
Yeah.
It'll be awkward.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's like how, because he's not wearing pants. If he was wearing pants, you just put your hand in the pocket, then it's easy.
Yeah, no. So he made his own pocket.
Oh, gross. He just used somebody else's head. Anime fight ensues.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good. It's hard to really pick anything. It's literally
just a blur.
It's hard to pick out anything specific. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a good fight.
Yeah. Which is what Zodd also is thinking. There's a cool thing going on here where this is the first time Guts is starting to be like, I might actually die in this fight. And Zodd is like, this is the first time I've had to like try in 100 years. 50 years.
So the first instance we get of that on, I think the first instance on like page 153, the shot of Zodd where he just says superb.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shading. Like the lighting on that is so fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh, I skipped too far ahead. Hold on, let me get back. I forgot. I'm going the wrong. Oh no, my reader read too many inputs. Okay, this will be a second, but yes. Anyways.
But yeah, it's just general stuff about like he's beyond human.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was wrong. It was 50 years. Not one man in 50 years has been able to stop my sword this long. I was going to ask you, actually, do we get a story of who 50 years ago was able to fight Zodd ever? Or is there an implication of a character?
As far as I know, there's nothing outright, but there's you could definitely like get a headcanon for who it could be.
Okay, so we will meet somebody that like Zodd will have encountered at some point, probably.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I just thought that was interesting foreshadowing as somebody. Well, I mean, I wanted to ask you, and I waited until this because that's either interesting foreshadowing or a dumb red herring that sometimes people do in stories.
You know, I would have to. It's been so long. The person who it might be, they might actually just say who it is at some point.
Oh, okay.
I honestly can't remember if it's like implied, said directly, or like left to your imagination.
Sure.
But it's one of those, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought this fight is super cool because it's kind of the first time both of these superhumans have found a match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we get, Guts. Dude, him blocking Guts's like final strike, and Guts cuts through the sword, and he just puts his fucking arms up.
Yeah,
and just the blade is like in his giant fucking forearms.
Yeah. Yeah, to like reduce, I guess, the amount of cut he can do. He just like uses his forearms to block some of it and then grabs the sword.
Dude, you're the first human ever to drive a sword this deep into my body. And then the next panel is him doing his fucking phase 2.
Yeah.
In these past 300 years of slaughter. Dude, it's so fucking good.
Oh, yeah, where he's like transforming or whatever into... I mean, the best way to describe it is a minotaur. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Minotaur form. Yeah, the way he does fur is awesome. Mira.
It's very good. Yeah. Well, we get those 2 pages where it's just Zodd.
Yeah, it's just his face. Basically.
It is very good.
Yeah, so we as the viewer can like kind of take a breather and take in this like horrific thing that just happened even closer, just seeing this monster or whatever. It's super cool.
Dude, the fucking little sequence where it's Guts' knees shaking and then sweat dripping off of his chin and then his teeth clenched and his eye like fucking wide open.
It's so good. I think, I don't remember, but this is the first time since the incident that he looked scared.
Yeah.
Like he was drawn scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The way that the teeth are shown clenching and like grinding against each other with like the little stars or whatever to indicate.
Yeah.
Man,
it's
the attention to detail this dude did is insane. It's so fucking crazy. It's unreal. Like, I know people have always said it. I didn't realize how fucking crazy it was, though. Yeah, more fighting. I guess, like, the big thing here is that with his phase 2, Guts being actually scared or whatever, he gets the absolute fucking shit kicked out of him and is about to die and gets saved by the band of hawks led by Griffith.
like he literally goes from like kind of holding up and getting some good strikes to just fucking nothing.
He literally gives up, actually.
Yeah.
Which is insane. He's just, I guess, like, at some point your body just stops, though. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
He's being held by this thing
still,
like 5 times bigger than him. What do you do?
He's still just a dude.
Yeah. He's still just a human. Just a pathetic human.
Griffith and Co show up with a bunch of crossbows.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that there's like a bunch of panels of them just firing a huge like army-sized volley into him. And they don't even do anything really to hurt or kill him. They piss him off.
Yeah. He doesn't even like... He literally is just upset that they're it says no one may defile this battle. He just wants his fucking 1v1.
He's mad that the one opponent that was able to, as he said, push me back for the first time in like 50 years is like the fight is ending with a bunch of ants essentially biting at him.
Yeah.
So what does he do? There's a whole double page thing of him literally biting a dude and ripping another one with his claws.
And then the next page, he like stomps his hoof on somebody, and there's just like they splat.
It's so crazy. It's so fucking bad. Yeah. It's interesting too, because this battle isn't really won necessarily.
Not at all.
Guts is down. Griffith goes to try to like save him so that they can pull back because they're all going to die. And I don't know. This is kind of cool because I think this is the first time we see. In fact, this is 100% the first time we see these two fight together as like a unit, or it's like an anime fight now.
Yeah.
With like literally a like you go from the left or whatever, and then like splitting up to kind of do whatever they can. One of them gets the arm cut off, and like, yeah, I don't know, man. This whole fight is so good. It's such a Dark Souls fight, though, because he picks up his cut off arm and starts using it as a weapon.
And then I like how, like, now that all the little pests are gone, Zodd's like, holy shit, 2 humans that are, like, good enough to damage me.
Yeah. That's the coolest part, actually. The fact that, like, he was pissed or whatever, and they're starting to get some good hits on him. And more, like, than him being, oh, shit, I might die. He's like, this is awesome. Today's been great. What a good day. I found 2 people that might be able to kill me.
Yeah. And then we get, like, pretty much the reason why this fight fucking exists.
For
him to look at Griffith and go, the egg of the king?
Yes.
And just, like, he has a terrified face. Like, he immediately is like, what the fuck?
The picture of his, like, animalistic eyes showing, like, just absolute fear with the word the God Hand there.
Yeah.
Man.
This was, I guess, it's not spoiler because we already saw a beherit, but like, this is the Crimson Beherit.
Yes. I believe they say it, actually, they say it right here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm, because like the other, so the idea is that the other ones are, because I don't know if we got the other ones colored, but yeah, like this one is red.
Right. Yeah. Also, that great meme picture you posted of like the beherit looking at some, like, making like a PogChamp face.
Oh, the Pog face. Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yes, this whole scene is so good. Not only because of the foreshadowing that this is kind of fucked up, this thing that he has, but also like the next page where he's just like, oh, I see how it is or whatever. And then just like breaks. He's the one that like escapes from this fight.
Yeah. I love how he just punches through their fucking roof.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he's like, I'm making my exit. Pow.
Yeah. It's so good.
And we get our prophecy.
I think it's important enough that we should read it.
Yeah, a word of warning, no, a prophecy. If you can be said to be a true friend of this man, then take heed. When his ambition collapses, death will pay you a visit, a death you can never escape.
Yeah, huge. I mean, I don't even know like exactly what he means, but I know exactly what he means from like, because this is one of the things that I think if you didn't read the beginning arc of the Black Swordsman, this doesn't have any weight necessarily yet.
Yeah.
Because this is super important after what we've seen in the beginning, in the intro, essentially, of who he called Griffith and like the fact that he's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And he flies away. And that's the end of Nosferatu Zodd. But Casca's mad and crying because none of this would have happened if it weren't for you. And we come back round to that your bad luck shtick again. And Griffith is not doing too well here, and it's his fault.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the big halfway point of this episode of our podcast that we're talking about now. And because now it kind of changes up tone a little bit to a lot more character based stuff.
Yeah, we definitely shift to a different battlefield.
Yes, a woman's heart.
Well, a woman's heart, but I guess I'm like
there's a lot of politics shit going on.
Yeah,
here
the
too.
the politics stuff, and then
yeah. So the battle is over, and everybody's kind of licking their wounds at the castle. I guess it's a castle, the town or whatever, the base that they're located in, and there's honestly just too much character stuff to go into complete specifics, but Casca hates Guts right now. Guts is kind of having like flashbacks of that moment of like it's your fault or whatever. But more importantly, Griffith has finally awoken from his coma or his like pain slumber or whatever was happening. And everybody's anxious to talk to him and see what's happened, but they can't get in because the nobility is there trying to pepper him with
suck him off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yes. And honestly, same. But so yeah, it's a lot of Casca being mad because Guts doesn't respect any nobility or whatever, so he tries to just barge his way in, which starts a fight with soldiers, which is like a real bad idea, I think.
Yeah, the guards are like, don't come in. And he's like, sure, whatever. Tosses them aside, and the rest of the group is like...
Yeah, it's like, no, we got it. No. Yeah, it's Casca that actually stops him. Just like punching him in the face and making him mad enough to go do a 200 swings or whatever you want to call it with his sword. Yeah, this is kind of the start of pretty important character stuff about him getting his kingdom, I guess, and like what he's striving for, what Griffith is striving for. And yeah, I don't know. Also, they're just kind of talking.
I mean, we get the conversation, for Guts and Griffith, and like, you can definitely read like multiple things from this, and it's what I've been enjoying. I'm just approaching this entire thing from such a different angle. Yeah, because like 7 or 8 years ago or whatever, it's like, oh shit, like demons fighting big swordsmen, haha. Yeah, and now I'm like focusing on all of the opposite shit. So like, the way I'm taking this, like, this conversation is like our first big gay conversation. And I don't mean that insulting me. I mean, literally, I'm reading this as homosexual. Yeah. Because, like, fucking, do I need one? A reason? I put myself in harm's way. Do I need a reason each time for your sake? Like, bro. Like, you could definitely, like, some people read it as like a brotherly love, is like a familial love sort of thing, as like just a love of a tool, kind of, because like Griffith recognizes Guts as like
the best serious
fighter. Yeah,
the best hammer he's ever had.
Yeah. But like, that's not how I'm reading this.
There is one, like, I don't care what people say, and especially because there's probably homophobic people that read this or whatever, there is definitely a love connection here that isn't necessarily sexual, but definitely there is a deep love between these two that is blossoming. Yeah, for sure.
And like it doesn't, and you know, the sexual or not, I mean, aside from that little water fight.
I mean, that was super sexual though. But yeah, no.
I'm sure there's someone out there who's like responding to somebody talking about the not even undertones, the overtones of their love, and someone's like, I just don't understand how you could read into it that way. Just completely fucking wrong.
Yeah, I think this story works better with that personally, because the thing is that until reading this stuff, I kind of didn't. I figured Griffith was like a Dio, like I said, from JoJo, but it's actually more like a scorned lover. I get the feeling now, not like in actuality that like they were together and then he broke apart or whatever, but more like the reason why Guts is so angry and wants, I can't remember, Femto or whatever, Demon Griffith or whatever the fuck's going on.
Yeah, Femto,
and to like fight him or like face him or whatever. These are the seeds of like the only relationship he's ever had in his life, and like how intense and deep it is being built right here. And like that, it's starting to make more sense to me how that how you would want to face somebody that could easily kill you like him, like maybe one last time, even if it meant your death. Like it's starting to make more sense now. It's not just like edgy revenge anymore. There's definitely, after we've seen what Guts has gone through, this relationship that's building is intense in a way that is absolutely unreal to me.
Yeah. Well, and as we go forward, like Griffith is quickly becoming like not a favorite character because of like what he does, but just so fucking interesting to analyze and look at, because he's intentionally written a bit vague, like, which is why there's so much room for like discourse on it, but just so good to talk about.
But like so this is kind of a thing in real life too. People like Guts, like victims or whatever, this is definitely Griffith is, there's people that prey on weak people in real life, people that have been hurt before, rape victims or whatever. There is like a personality type, a manipulator type that can like sniff that shit out and like utilize it to their advantage, which is what makes people that have endured abusive relationships and stuff, it makes it so scary for them, because there's a lot of those types of people out there. Griffith is 100% that type of person, and you can tell just because of how he goes about things and talks about things. But like, it's super, not conniving isn't the right thing, because I don't think any part of what I've read of Griffith so far shows that he has ill intentions necessarily, but it's obvious that the only thing he cares about is himself and the people around him he's using to get to that. And like, they straight up say that in a lot of parts too. But like, that is a very classic manipulative person type thing in real life. And it's like kind of disturbing seeing it happen on the page in this comic as it's going.
Yeah.
And it gets more intense. Like, it's not bad yet. I'm kind of like speaking a little bit out of turn because it gets more and more intense as we go. And I kind of like have a little foresight in that because I've read ahead. But yeah, Griffith is a super interesting. I don't know if he's necessarily a villain or an anti-hero by the end of all this stuff. I have my thoughts about what he's going to be. But he has the makings of one of the best villains in written media just because of all this build-up, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's just a darkness to him that if you've seen these traits in people before, little things you can pick out here and there. And I think that's super intentional. I don't think that's like, Mira obviously knows what he's doing.
You know what's fucking side note about him like writing this manga? He did not plan a lot of it in advance.
Yeah.
He literally wrote the 3 volumes where it's like demon
fighting
and like the black swordsman and shit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I suppose I'll do a backstory. Like, it was a fucking afterthought.
Yeah. I think he was
it's crazy.
So just like a side note here, you know how as like North Americans and Canadians in my case or whatever, we have like a kind of like relationship with Europe in that we kind of fetishize the like giant castles and knights and like that time period, and like Europeans don't care about that stuff because that's kind of their history, so they like kind of the like natives and all that sort of stuff, which is why they like visiting like mountainous parts of our country, nations and stuff like that, and seeing all that stuff. Japanese people really have a fascination with medieval shit as well. And
except it's way cooler.
And it's obvious Mira is actually taking inspiration from real life medieval battles, like the actual 100-Year War and shit like that. And like, I think a lot of that is just, well, what am I interested in? I really, really like knights and stuff like that. I think that shit's super cool. That's going to be part of the backstory. I think there's like a lot of that peppered in because the setting is inconsequential. You know, you have a character named Griffith, you know, you have a character named Guts, and you know that they have a close connection to each other. Let's just like try some different stuff and see, like, well, I like medieval wars, so let's set it in that time period. Let's like, I really like this, I don't know, the idea of giant whale knights, so let's have whale knights in there. And like, I don't know, the way you're right that it seems like it's kind of haphazardly thrown together in that way where he didn't plan it, but the fact that he makes it work is amazing. It's crazy.
And I mean, I assume once he started in on the backstory shit, then he planned ahead a bit. But the fact that he starting in media res wasn't a plan that he wasn't planning on going back. It's just wild.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, the real life inspiration is definitely. I mean, even the battles, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was literally looking at like paintings and shit to get ideas.
Totally. Yeah. Agreed. So we pick up after their conversation with the king showing up and having a conversation with specifically Griffith, but also Guts is there. Is it the king's brother? Who the hell is the other dude here?
Yeah, it's the king's brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name because I don't remember.
It's like Julius.
Yes,
Count Julius.
Count Julius, yeah. The king seems like a real cool dude, I will say. And Count Julius seems like the type of person who should have his head on a pike, essentially. I fucking hate him. We're supposed to, though.
Super. Yeah, I mean, clearly, like, Count Julius is the one, like, how dare you fucking not bow? And the king is like, I'm on a stroll. Calm down.
Yeah. Fucking slow your roll, brother.
And then we get the fucking hot cinnamon bun princess.
Yeah, we get Princess Leia. Yeah, Charlotte.
And she trips and Griffith catches her. I would do the same fucking thing, Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a cool kind of like, not build up really, but I like how they introduced her as super shy, hiding behind the pillar or whatever. And then as like they're going for their walk down the stairs, she trips and Griffith with his one good arm catches her because he's on a crutch. He's using a crutch right now. And then just gets fucking backhanded like some back alley bitch by the Count. That scene is infuriating, but the way, so it's funny because Guts like starts to do something.
Guts is about to kill that guy,
but
his sword is literally in his hand, dude.
Yeah. He's about to cut through the whole army that's sitting there.
Like, he's fucking ready.
But the way it actually resolves is so much like better of a fuck you, where fucking Griffith just like smiles at him with that like kind of shit-eating grin.
That creepy, like, dude, his eyes are, it's not like they're incredibly detailed, but just how he does the pupils as like
they're piercing
dot. They're pure, even on the page. Like, it's like they're looking into your fucking soul.
Yeah, absolutely. They're super piercing. It's great, but like, I don't know. It's not like a cold stare either. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It's like a, it's fucking hard to explain.
So the best thing is if you like take that panel and then the panel right under and then just ignore the writing that's there, that like is the perfect just like what the fuck is going on with one person looking like that and then the count just looking like, huh?
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, anyways, this is kind of our first tell that the count's probably an evil piece of shit. There's like a panel of him walking away, looking angry, and then talking to somebody, and you're like, oh, there's something's going to happen here. I've seen enough stuff like Game of Thrones that I know there's a plan going that's going to brew here.
The super important panel we get is the handmaidens like gossiping.
Yeah, like, the handmaidens gossiping.
Just superb, even prettier than me, and I'm a woman.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, well,
what I'm saying is that if there was two people at a bar, her or Griffith, I would need about 10 more drinks to sleep with her than I would him.
Dude, yeah, if like, who am I gonna walk up to sight unseen? Like, just some chick or a dude with like snow white hair and a gaze that looks into my soul?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The real thing is probably the chick, because Griffith is way out of both of our league.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not good enough at anything to attract his attention.
Yeah, I've never even given like another person a hand job. So, like, what do I have to offer you?
Yeah, we get, then that call immediately. We get fucking Julius talking to Minister Foss, who is like a little toady kind of man.
Yeah.
Who's like, immediate scheming.
Immediate.
With the autumn hunt.
So the important thing here is that these characters are very much about the hierarchy and the fact of like the thing they really don't like about Griffith is the fact that he's a commoner and like he's doing amazing things or whatever and getting all this attention. They don't really care that he's like super good at tactics or like with a sword or whatever. They really just don't like that he has common blood. It's just super basic classism happening here. And there's like there's some of the best emotional drawings I've seen in comics over these pages of Julius kind of like contemplating, both in anger and a little bit like out of not fear, but like aghast at the possibility of murdering like this guy.
Shock. Yeah. Because he's even like, you couldn't possibly be suggesting. And then like, and then he's like, oh.
The next on the next page after the one you just said, it shows him having the realization of like, oh yes, accidents happen all the time, sort of thing, right? Like a weird mob boss of like, well, there's the hunt going on. A stray arrow could like just people are shooting at the creatures or whatever. Stray arrow could fly wrong it's over or whatever. Fitting way for a commoner to die is what he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
dude, and just I love the delivery where Julius is like, you couldn't possibly, and then Foss is just like a stray arrow general.
Yeah.
And then fucking
the maniacal laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Julius is just like,
it's so good. It's like this. I don't know if it is taught in animation studios and stuff. This is like amazing storyboarding potential here of like how to show an actor how to do a scene in drawings.
Yeah,
and it's
dude.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. The facial fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Gus is playing with his sword. After that,
as always, very like another pretty important scene for him, though. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like, fucking every scene is there's not filler really.
Mira has a lot of symbolism in everything he does.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So he's thinking about Griffith, like putting his life on the line, and then he's thinking back to him in the water under the full moon.
Same.
And then he comes to the conclusion, like, for now, I'll wield my sword for his sake.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
do
like
it for him.
Very important for Guts.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck, it's so good. Also, just the symbolism again of him looking up at the sky the night. There's just so much of that.
Yeah.
The next chapter is literally just the plan being carried out, but kind of failing. Griffith goes to meet up with the princess, who has obviously taken a liking to him, and he obviously at least enjoys her company or whatever, feels some sort of service to her because she is the princess or whatever, and they're kind of having a chat.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, I guess they're not. Nothing has been said like outright.
Not yet.
But I think there's like enough implication because like Griffith's dream, he literally says like he wants a kingdom. So
Yes.
like he also clearly sees this as obvious avenue.
I mean,
'Cause,
it's
like-
brownie points. At the best, he gets the hand of a princess and then just de facto becomes a lord of some sort. Worst case scenario, he's a super nice dude and gets brownie points with the king.
Yeah,
It's a win-win.
Totally.
Also, like, she's cute, so why not?
Yeah, she. Like, yeah.
There's a great just like 2 or 3 pages of him picking up a reed leaf and like teaching her how to like make sound and blow on it or whatever. It's super cute.
Dude, I'm such a sucker for like, I guess it's on specifically like 40. I guess for Griffith it's like 40, the top of 44, and then for Charlotte it's the top of 45. But like the little lip coming over the edge of a thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's so cute. I'm just such a sucker for it. Like, it's so cute.
So on the page you're talking about with what's her name again?
Charlotte,
right. Charlotte, like in the second to last panel on that page, she's like giving these like cute little eyes with it. She's so cute.
She's so happy.
Yeah. A wild boar comes out, scares the horse that she's on, and this is kind of the cue that the sniper that has been hired by the Count is to take his shot with a poisoned arrow onto Griffith and like the perfect opportunity to say that he missed. And it's a weird they call it later like failing upwards or whatever, but it's one of those things where not only does he hit Griffith but not Pierce because the beherit takes the deflects the shot or whatever.
Yeah, it's in the beherit's eye or whatever.
Yeah. But also because of the situation where Griffith was like trying to help Charlotte after the boar scared the horse into the river or whatever. He looks like he took the shot as an assassination attempt on her to like save her. Yeah. So he becomes an instant hero.
Yeah, dude. It's so fucking good. It's just like funny bullshit, like cartoon villain shit.
Yeah.
It backfires.
Yeah.
Except it's serious and, you know.
I'm kind of like jumping over 2 or 3 chapters worth of stuff by just describing that whole scene. But
yeah.
Anyways.
The one thing that I want to mention, I guess, I guess it's not near the end. We get during the hunt where Griffith sees the guy. Is it just Julius? I think it's just Julius in the hat. And we get like Griffith's eyes just like fucking wide as can be and just piercing that dude.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like a repeated fucking thing.
Yeah.
That like and even on the following panels, like Julius is just fucking there's like so many shots of just Griffith's eyes.
Yeah.
And it's like looking with eyes at me just like a hawk's eyes.
Yes. In specific, Miura has a thing with eyes. All his characters' eyes are, even the murder victims are very visible.
It only gets worse.
Yeah. I'm sure. But yeah, again, we kind of skip over a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of this is just the assassination attempt, which is a lot of stuff that can be jumped over. But it failed. More importantly, Casca and Guts have a feeling that maybe it wasn't an accident or wasn't as what people think an assassination attempt on the princess, but probably for Griffith himself. Griffith kind of also tells Guts, like, I'm 100% sure it's Julius. Because he did a little bit of investigation. He either paid or overheard the maidens say that they saw the marksman or whatever leave his quarters angrily. Yeah, I don't know. I guess before all of that, Judo gives him the Kama Sutra, gives Guts the Kama Sutra, and that's a great little gag. But anyways, continuing on.
That's still Griffith.
Oh, is that Griffith? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has his hair. His hair isn't flowing against the sunset.
But
yeah,
right.
He looks a lot like Judo in this.
Yeah. But page 72.
Yeah, Guts is, even things like this. He's holding the big fucking...
Yeah, the big so book. Good. Wanna borrow it.
His eyes for wanna borrow it. Just like that cute little like...
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. Anyways, this chapter of it ends with him saying that you're still my guard dog, so I want you to kill somebody for me, essentially.
Yeah. Well, and then, and the next chapter, he's just like giving the fucking Sherlock Holmes reveal of how he figured out it's Julius and shit that we already knew.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that he's like, this is an assassination. It's not just crossing swords. It's dirty work. Failure isn't permissible. You can't be seen at all.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm asking you to do this. And Guts is like, or he's like, can I count on you? And Guts is like, just order me to do it.
Yeah. It's like,
Don't fucking ask.
Yeah. Yeah,
I got you, boo.
Also, more just homoerotic stuff. Cut to the chase. Order me to. Guts is very much a sub, as much as an alpha as he is. And that's why the relationship works. I would love for there to be... I'm going to actually look this up on YouTube when we're done the series, specifically the manga, because everything else will just be based on the manga anyway. A dissertation of like gay culture and homoerotic stuff from Berserk, because I bet there is some amazing shit that me as not a gay man would not know or catch.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But anyway, sub-dom stuff going on there. This is interesting. We see Guts with a full cloak and like being very, very secretive, which is interesting because up until this point, even his helmet, we see his face like completely.
This is another the shot of him in the full cloak with his sword on his back.
Yeah.
That's like some Dark Souls shit, right?
100%. I mean,
Like,
even if it's
Dark
not
Souls
intended
hell.
to, I've made my character look like this all the time in Souls because I think it looks cool as shit.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways, yeah, he starts skulking out in the castle in the count's quarters and sees him sparring with, we find out, is his son. And there's like weird daddy issues that come up with memories.
I mean, it's
yeah.
It's definitely like a similar. He's just seeing Gambino.
Yes.
In this.
Yeah, for sure. And like there's literally a panel where he is shown like as kid him and a bunch of scenes of Gambino throwing him the like salve to help his wounds and sparring with him or whatever. And he kind of just shakes it off, saying, I can't be careless.
Yeah.
Anyways, he goes into the quarters and is loud as fuck.
And Julius has his little fucking... I can't think of the villain's name in fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I can't remember it. Cardinal something.
Yeah, he has that little moment where he's like looking at the fire and he sees fucking Griffith and he's all pissed. Like he can't get Griffith out of his head.
Yeah.
Everyone's just obsessed with this man. It's pretty good.
He sees him in the fire and like throws his chalice in it.
Yeah, it's so good. And then that's when he notices. The scene of Guts emerging from the shadows is super cool. I love how they do that with like the heavy, I don't even know what it is. It's not even the dots. It's like scales almost.
It's almost like the opposite dots. It's like dotting with white almost. But yeah, you're right. It's almost like a mosaic of some sort.
And then it fades to the dots and then it's him.
Yeah.
But it's still, his cloak has that shading and stuff.
And the way it's like his cloak is obscuring half his face, so all you see is his nose and cheek area with obscured eyes and stuff. It's so fucking cool. But then we find out why you don't send a strength build to do the job of a dex build. Which is essentially just a start of a sword fight starts, but I mean, Guts finishes it with one slice as he does all his sword fights, so it doesn't really matter. And of course, gets seen by the kid, right? And this is my favorite part. Guts just is like, so I'm trying to remember what it is, but this is such a tropey thing, and it's usually done in parody where like somebody's getting assassinated and then somebody else sees, so you got to kill them, and then like a group of people see, so you got to kill them, and it just gets worse. It just spirals. Or like this happens in like GTA or something when it's like kill the target, oh, you've been spotted, so you got to kill that guy, then you got to kill the car full of people that drove by, like it just gets worse and
just
worse.
Just a whole thing.
And this is where it gets
like,
bad.
I feel so bad for him though,
for the kid,
because like he clearly doesn't like register right. He just hears someone say an intruder and he fucking impales him into the wall through like out of the door. But like the kid is completely shade, like that's the darkest shading we've seen, I think, because like you can't tell who it is, and then the kid is there and he realizes and he's like holds the kid's hand for a little bit.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, like he didn't realize who it was, and then
I see.
Like, where he's like he like grabs the kid's hand, he's like, hey.
Oh man,
he's fucking rough.
Oh, the way it's drawn too, with the kid having tears in his eyes as he's dying, and like, Guts holding his hand to his mouth. It's so bad.
It's really fucking rough, dude. Yeah, Guts like covering his mouth, like he's actually like he didn't ask for this, but then the fucking guards come. He doesn't think about that. Just fucking.
I do love that like. The guards don't matter. He just cuts them in half.
The guards don't matter. Like, they're fucking... Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but it just gets worse and worse, and you just see him outside cutting up more and more guards until he has to jump off the I can't remember, the ramparts, I guess, of the castle, the walls, and jumps down to
just
try to get away,
and then finds the sewer.
Yeah.
There was a thing I wanted to mention, but I'm going to hold off.
Oh, is it kind of spoilery?
It's not spoilery, but it's a thing I want to... It's like it'd be a motif.
Okay. Sure.
A motif I want to talk about, but I want to wait until some other shit has happened.
Sure.
To include it. But yeah.
So yeah, he jumps off to get away from the guards, finds kind of a grate into the sewer system to get back into the city.
So, I'm looking at page 105. I don't know if it's intentional or not, like if it's actually this long or it's just sort of like a whoopsie, but look at how fucking long his sword is in the middle panel. It's like stretching out through the top or through like the window or whatever. It's like stupidly long.
Why draw an end when it can just go on forever?
Yeah, keep going. That sword doesn't fucking stop, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, and then he like sort of fades out a little bit.
Yeah,
in the sewer. Like the water makes him...
I'm under the impression he either faints or just gets knocked out or something. I mean, a lot of pressure just happened. So
yeah,
he loses consciousness.
I think it's supposed to just be, I'm looking a little closer and it's easy to miss. I didn't notice it before. I think he like hits his head on page 105 also at the bottom. There's like a block. Yeah. It's pretty subtle though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his eyes just fade and he goes under.
So yeah, we have like kind of weird nightmares of him as a kid fighting Gambino, and then Zodd in his Super Saiyan Minotaur form coming up behind them, attacking them, cutting off Gambino's head and killing him. And then he wakes up. He turns into Zodd.
I was going to say we get that important shot of like his face on Zodd's head. With like fucked up teeth and horns and shit.
And just looking like befuddled that maybe he was the monster all along.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, he wakes up in the sewer and finds his way back.
Goes immediately to the fucking tavern or whatever. Just where everyone's having a good time. He shows up looking like shit. Smelling like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some good shit. Just... all he says is, "Where's Griffith?" Basically,
I love how Casca is like, he's at a dinner party hosted by the princess. It gets like cool, and he's like going to the dinner party, smelling like shit.
I love it because if this was a sitcom, I can see how this is like a group of people hanging out or whatever. The door opens, like it's Guts, and the audience is like, "Woo, yeah," and then Guts. And then everybody's like, yeah, or whatever. And he's like, Griffith. Where's Griffith? Oh, he's at the dinner party. He's like, okay. And he starts walking away and everyone's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Like, it's just so fucking stupid.
There's like an old banana peel on his head to show that he's filthy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Also, he turns around to walk away, and she's like, "Wait, that's an arrow wound. What the fuck?" And this is this where we're ending? Just about. So he goes to talk to Griffith. Griffith is hanging out with Charlotte, dressed as a noble in his fancy attire, and kind of like by a fountain in the courtyard as he pulls up. I was gonna say as he walks up,
as he rolls up. Pulls up.
Yeah. I guess like Charlotte and Griffith like puts down his coat for her and tells her to have a seat, and Guts is about to walk up and is stopped by Casca, who cuts her sleeve of her garb to kind of like tie up his arrow wound that she saw, and just telling him like, don't embarrass Griffith and us going up there. Like, you look like shit, dude. you can't go up there looking like that. And they're kind of, I don't know if this wasn't something that was obvious to me necessarily, but can they overhear the conversation? I don't think they can. I think this is just another cutting of like between two parts that are happening.
So they can, yeah.
Griffith and Charlotte
I guess
are having a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if Guts and Casca can hear the first bits of this, but certainly the important shit they hear. Okay, because this is like probably like the defining conversation
of like who Griffith is,
of like who he is, and also like it changes everything, right?
Sure.
Like we can even see, like he's going. So for those who don't know, Griffith is like going through like his dream and like obtaining this precious thing and how he protects this thing and following all of that, and how like the dream, like you can't just get a dream, like you have to sacrifice to get a dream, right?
Yeah, you have to devote yourself fully to a dream and kind of nothing else.
Yeah. And so he has like he must come upon one other precious thing for no other's sake, to accomplish it for him, for himself, a dream. And yeah, if there is a dream which takes his whole life to find, there are also dreams which, like storms, devour tens of thousands of other dreams.
Yes.
And we get like, yeah, we're like in between this, woven into this conversation, we see like Guts and Casca, and especially Guts is like really paying attention to this.
Yes, there is. So, I mean, I think we're just going to read parts of this because there's some really important shit going on here. So she starts talking about how she thinks that the band and like his companions or friends or whatever are probably attracted to that charm he has. And he's talking about, he says literally to me, a friend is something else, someone who would never depend upon another's dream, someone who wouldn't be compelled by anyone, but would determine to pursue his own reason to live. And should anyone trample that dream, he would oppose him body and soul, even if the threat were me myself. What I think a friend is one who is my equal. And there's just like that moment of there's only two people in this world now. Like that whole page is Griffith and Guts kind of like in the spotlight with everything else taken out. And it's so fucking powerful.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. It gave me chills reading it.
That panel is fucking so good.
Yeah.
And I'm also I like a good fucking little cherry blossom thing effect, and I have that shit on here too.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It makes no sense, but
it's fucking great.
It's really good. I wish that like the episode pictures that are associated in the RSS feed could be big enough to fit that page in, but they're not. So it's unfortunate because it's so fucking good. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Guts defining. It's so fucking big to put into words.
Yeah,
it's a lot, but like this is. Because like Griffith is just talking, right? He's just going off. This is like Guts defining moment.
Yes. Yeah. And specifically also defining just their relationship to each other for us, not necessarily for like those characters between each other, but like for us watching that. Yeah. Okay. So at least Griffith thinks they're at least on the, like what Griffith is talking about here is the old yin and yang model or whatever. Like and that's exactly what we're shown here is that he is the exact opposite, or I guess like counterbalance to him or whatever. And at least in his estimation, are equals, but I think everything we were led to believe, at least what I think from what I know so far, Griffith is much more powerful. Currently.
I mean, yeah, the last time we saw them fight, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily think they're equal in that regard, but also we know that we're going to see Guts like grow a lot as a character and in power level, because that's what happens in anime.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's like this, I'm trying to get, did we have it? We kind of don't really get there yet. How far are we going in this episode? We're going
one more chapter.
So this is Precious thing, just departure for the front. Oh no, we have like the battle yet.
Yeah, but the battle, I mean, there's not, this is the big stuff right here.
Yeah,
right here, yeah.
The juice.
This should have been 2 episodes. I fucked up. Like, I just straight up didn't remember how big there is.
It's, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wait, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing that you haven't read, but like, it's just not, we're not to the stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about shit, but we just haven't gotten there as far as these episodes go.
Yeah.
But I know you've read it already.
Yes. Yeah.
I just don't want to jump the gun.
You're talking about Casca stuff, right?
Casca, and then like some more Guts stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's man, we get, when they announce that Julius has died, and we just get that panel of Griffith looking fucking
evil as fuck,
creepy,
just like super basic, like anime evil thing. It's so tropey, but it's great.
And then Guts just walking off at the end, and Casca's like, hey.
Yeah.
And just says nothing, just leaves.
Yeah. I guess the other subtext here is that this is where Charlotte really falls head over heels for
Charlotte is
Griffith.
Fucking, and I mean, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, totally.
Like, he's charismatic as shit, and like just such a thing. And I'm trying to find where it is. I think that's like earlier in the conversation where he's like, sorry, this is like no conversation to be like putting on to a lady. She's like, no, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking stop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of the first panels of the pages of them talking.
Yeah.
It's really
I forgot how early it was.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, the big battle is about to start or whatever. I guess the next day.
Yeah. I mean, like, the only big thing that I can think of beforehand, well, there's like 2 big things. Like, first, Griffith interacts with Minister Foss.
Yeah.
And Foss is like all crafty and all that shit, and we get that shot of Griffith at the end of the hallway under the, like, in the shadows of the archway,
but completely white,
like just staring at the dude. Like, we get that fucking Hawkeye look.
Yeah,
page 148.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about 147, which shows him.
Yeah, that's also very good.
That whole sequence is great.
Hallway scene. Yeah. Just fucking staring.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing before the battle is like Princess Charlotte giving Griffith the little stone.
It's so cute. It's like medieval, like BFF bracelets or whatever, where each one takes half of a heart.
Yeah. It's also like, I guess they don't show too much of it, but it's like a big thing for Casca to be there as well.
To watch it, yeah. Well, she kind of walks up
at that
into them already having. Well, Griffith is starting to walk away because he's departing. He's saying bye or whatever. And yeah, I guess it's a soldier and a woman little figurine on a necklace made out of
made out of
lodestone.
They call it lodestone, but yeah, like the natural magnet stuff.
Yeah, the idea being that when they're together, they like join up together because they're attracted, the magnets or whatever. It's super cute.
Yeah,
it's too much. Oh, I'm so scared. I need to start talking about what I think is going to happen, because I think a big part of this is me not knowing and then maybe revisiting those thoughts when shit happens or whatever. Because already, totally. So you don't have that perspective. I think Charlotte's going to eat it in the worst way, and it's going to be the worst. I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared for Charlotte. Because she's too cute.
It's like some Game of Thrones shit. Like every time you meet a character, you're like, oh no.
And especially in this world, it's not like, I don't think she's just going to be like bleeding and then like die in somebody's arms. I think her head is going to be like caved in by some paw or something.
I mean, it's crazy because and this is again for people who would skip those first 3 volumes, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what this world is.
It sets the tone.
It's nothing new at all.
Yeah.
But the Golden Age arc as a whole is so fucking good at like giving you a false sense of security.
Yeah.
That like maybe it doesn't turn out this way.
Yes.
But you know where it's going.
Yes.
You lived it. And I just can't imagine like skipping those first 3. Like then, yeah, you wouldn't have any idea. Maybe that would make this shit more impactful. But like,
yeah,
it has a completely different tone.
Yeah. Also,
it like I've said it to you before. Like sort of that almost like Norse myths, right?
Yes.
Like that sense of futility. You know Ragnarok's happening, and it lends a certain aura to everything you read beforehand.
Yes. Yeah, no. There's just... So the interesting thing is that all media essentially could be this, because we all know that we're all going to die at some point. But the way that things like this that portray almost a helplessness or stuff, it makes like the things that are more depressing more depressing, and the things that are heroic more heroic, because they happen in the face of inevitable doom, which is what I think is so powerful about a lot of the stuff that's happening here. Also, damn. I don't know, just this fucking charmer, dude, where he's like, I can't accept it, which is why I'll give it back when I come home safely.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
Oh my god, so many wet panties.
Had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. And this all kind of builds up to the queen. We meet the queen for the first time, who seems like a real joyous person.
A royal bitch.
Yeah.
Am I right, fellas?
She definitely seems like a classic depiction of a queen. So, like, down to the fact that she's like, you can't like him because he's a commoner sort of thing. It's,
yeah,
man, get the guillotines out is what I'm saying. Eat the rich. Fuck this shit. I'm so mad.
Like she even says, like, properly speaking, one of your rank should even hesitate to so lightly converse with him. Like, you should be reconsidering even, like, asking or, like, mentioning the weather in passing.
Yeah, it pisses me off so fucking much. But, I mean, it's a great introduction to immediately know who the queen is, what she's about, and, like, kind of what her character is like, which is going to be important later.
Yeah, yeah.
So... yeah, no, it's good. But yes, on to battle. That's where we are now. There's this awesome... yeah, go on.
Yeah, my things first. Okay.
Yeah.
We get Guts having his little thought about what I think a friend is.
No, that's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like the Stormy stuff on the next page.
Nope.
But yeah, no, he's internalized that shit.
Yeah, and then he puts down his helmet visor, so you know shit's on now.
Yeah. And then we get the cool Stormy panel.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I'm a sucker for these. I really like black and white usage of, like, just hard contrast black and white.
Yeah, the silhouettes, like the battlements, like coming over the crest of the hill.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, I find this, like, these 3 panels where they're heavily silhouetted and there's lightning and stuff. I think this is more impactful than any instance I've seen of this scene in, like, a film or show.
Totally.
Because it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
But it's so many times it's just, like, normal. And this has it works better in this medium, I feel. For me.
Yeah, it's super cool. Especially the 3 panels where they're slowly being revealed. First, all you see are spears and a trident coming over, cresting the hill. Then you kind of see, like, the half of what's going on. And then you can see, like, the silhouettes of the army kind of standing there. And the use of blackening the skies so that you can showcase the white lightning ripping, like, parts of it apart and stuff. Like, that is just artistic direction that you don't always see. Where, so, like, a lot of people, I think this is a problem when you think in color, too, which obviously most comics, if not all comics our days do, is that you could just have a blue sky or, like, a sky of different, like a purple sky or something, and have, like, white or yellow bursting through. But in black and white, you have to make the conscious effort to, like, do a gray gradient so that you can showcase something like that properly. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of forethought you have to do in grayscale and black and white that is astounding to see. Like, even on the next page where you see the landscape is blackened, but it would look bad to show the banners and the people kind of just, like, against the black landscape. So there's, like, kind of an aura around them so that you can see them properly and they stand out more. Just shit like that. It's just well done.
Yeah, we get, like, I think the only other thing before the battle really is we get the I mean, not even an implication unless you're, like, fucking beyond oblivious, but, like, clearly Casca is, like, on her period.
Oh, 100%. It was super.
Like, I can't imagine how you would miss that.
You're a 12-year-old dude who's never talked to a girl.
I guess.
Like, there's no other way. I think.
And then it's
okay.
Like, going from there is just battle shit.
So we have to talk about, this is, like, one of my favorites. So they're fighting the Blue Whale Ultra Heavy Armored Fierce Assault Annihilation Night Corp.
Dude, it's so good.
That's their whole title. It's the Blue Whale Ultra Heavy Armored Fierce Assault Annihilation Night Corp.
It's so good. It's so fucking dumb.
Also,
and their armor is just, like, fishy.
Yeah, they're just
it's
fish
not even
armor.
Whale. It's just like fish with fins and shit.
The most important of which is Addon, the main dude, because he comes up, like, way more than he should. Frankly, he has a lot of talking parts, but oh wait, maybe he doesn't. I can't remember. One of them is, like, around for way too long, and I can't remember if it's actually him.
I don't think it's him. Is it, like, his brother?
Oh, it might be the Rhino dude. I don't know.
I think it's the Rhino guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget.
Because
I get it all muddled, but yeah.
One of them uses a, like, flail, a mace, and that guy is around way too long. This guy uses a trident because, of course, he does. Because fish or whatever.
You gotta, dude.
But yes, he's fighting Casca, and she's on her period, so she's,
like, rough.
Yeah, she's not having a great time. There's a lot of I mean, I'll just read some stuff here. You adorn yourself like a man, but you're quite the gem, aren't you? I'll offer you a chance. If you come quietly as my prisoner, you can leave this place alive. But what I meant by prisoner is you'd be my army's harlot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just like, hey, like, you can live if we just like use you as a rape toy for a while. Yeah. This is a theme against everybody she faces, essentially. I can't stomach it, a woman playing at being a knight. Women are inferior to men in strength. What use could they be in a battle? Like, yeah, there's some stuff.
We get into that shit.
Perhaps you achieved like your rank theme of commander by sneaking into that man Griffith's bedroom.
Yeah, dude.
So,
like, it's such a... Is it like a feminist thing? Like, this is clearly like this is shit that like women deal with, you know? And it's like it's presented well here. Like, it's not I don't know how to phrase it properly. Like, they're presenting it as an issue, and like it's fucking lame, you know?
But like, all guys get harassment.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hashtag me too.
Oh no.
Just log off. Duh. No, but seriously, like, it's fucking abhorrent. I will say, for better or worse, this is all coming from one dude and not like the whole army. But I mean, the whole army is also not talking. I'm sure they would probably be saying similar shit.
Basically, anytime she goes one-on-one.
Anytime she goes one-on-one, it's
some bullshit.
There is a conversation about her gender. 100%.
Yeah.
Every time. Yep. Yeah.
We get, I mean, yeah, and she's like losing guts, steps in. I guess we're not. Yeah, okay, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, no, this is kind of a build-up.
I was about to start talking about like the page after, and then I noticed the title card. I'm like, oh, we're not there.
No.
Doing that today. That'll be another hour of talking.
So this is why I kind of wanted to stop here. It's a pretty good stopping point where, I don't know, it is a little tropey, like, man steps in to save damsel in distress type thing. This isn't a trope that happens often in this, but this is definitely a woman can't take on big dude, so other big dude must step in and help her.
Yeah, it's not like direct though, you know?
It's not.
Like, because she's on her period, and clearly it's like pretty bad, which, you know, can happen. And even Guts is like, this ain't like you. Like, what? I have to step in to save you? That's weird. Because like she can clearly, I think, well, no, like Guts is clearly stronger than her. Like, he would win in a fight, but like she's like punched him several times. Like, she doesn't need the saving. So like it's presented as like a weird thing. Like, Guts is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Against this asshole?
There is you're right. There is that panel where he literally says, like, he steps in to stop the death blow from happening and says, this ain't like you. And then he has the great line of something like, I just feel like swinging this with all my might until I can't think about anything else.
Yeah,
it's like
dude.
A weirdly, like, deep,
meditative,
a weirdly deep line of like, oh, that's why he got so good at swinging the sword. It's because he could control it, and that, like, it's the only thing growing up he could control in his life. So he got really good at it.
He just loses himself in it.
That's so dark.
Yeah,
it's so fucking dark. But that's where we're gonna end off this conversation, which was a hefty one. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm going to be better about cutting. I have kind of an idea how we're going to cut these from now on. So next time,
Okay.
that we talk, we're going to be talking chapter 15 to 22. And that's probably going to be about an hour by itself. There's a lot to talk about in there for character stuff. And yeah, that I've been told is an important part too. The Bonfire of Dreams specifically apparently is a very important scene, I've been told, but I haven't been told why, even though it's kind of obvious character-wise why it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, important. The only thing I'll say, which I don't think is too spoilery, is it has some of my favorite art.
Sure. Yeah, great stuff coming up. Great Casca moments and backstory and stuff. So if you've been mad about hearing about how she's been treated, just wait. She comes back with a vengeance, and we get to talk a lot about her in both a strong and kind of like sexualized woman in some ways as well, but like not in a bad way. It's cool. They do some cool stuff with her, so I'm excited to talk about that. Good. Okay, any closing thoughts on this? Like basically two major. You know what? This was like actually 2.5 major chapters. This was too much.
Yeah, we dug into a lot.
Yeah, no,
I think I got everything out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think I got everything too. We're getting to that point. We're slowly getting to the point where some real shit, as you say, is about to start. So I'm nervous and excited.
I just was so surprised. I had forgotten, like, because even when I think about Berserk, I still kind of think about the anime for this section, because it's pretty spot on. Like, they're not leaving a shitload out, but like during kind of our transitional period, there's like so much more that the manga has in it. So that's why I was like, oh, we actually need to do like, there's like another 2 volumes or whatever before
the big thing
to stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of funny, but
cool.
Yeah. It's just been a hot minute.
Sure. All right. Well, this ended up being a double episode, and I kind of didn't intend it to be. So I guess that's where we're going to stop for now.
Yeah.
All right.
Good time.
Until next time.